Look at this screen. This is the American dream, isn't it? You work hard. You save with discipline. You contribute the maximum amount to your 401 plan every year. You log into your investment account. You see that number. $500,000, $1 million, and you feel safe. You think to yourself, this is my money. This is my security. But I am sorry to be the one to tell you this. The number you are looking at, it is a lie. It is a financially engineered illusion. We are taught that the 401k plan is our biggest asset aside from our home. But what is the truth? Your 401k is not an asset in the true sense of the word. It is actually a massive, unpaid debt. And you owe this debt to the most ruthless collection agency on the planet, the Internal Revenue Service. Today, we are not going to sugarcoat it. We are going to dissect the brutal truth about so-called tax deferral. This is not your fault. You did exactly what you were taught to do, but the system has changed. And if you do not rethink this asset right now, you are walking into a financial trap in retirement. If you are tired of the cliché financial advice that only wants to keep you inside the system, please hit the like button and subscribe to the channel right now. We are about to expose the truth about your money. Let's begin. Let me tell you a story. Imagine you want to start a business. You meet an angel investor, let's call him Uncle Sam. This business partnership agreement goes like this. You are the one putting up 100% of the capital. You are the one taking 100% of the risk. If the market crashes, you lose everything. And Uncle Sam, he contributes $0. He takes absolutely no risk. But here is the crazy part. When you ask, Mr. Sam, when I sell the company and take the profit, what percentage do you want to split? He smiles and says, oh, do not worry about that right now. Just work hard. When that time comes, I will decide the number I want to take. Would you sign that contract? No way. You would call security and throw him out the door immediately. But ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly the contract you signed with your 401 plan. We call it tax advantage. Traditional financial experts call it smart saving. But in reality, this is a systemic trap. The Internal Revenue Service acts as a silent partner. They allow you to keep the tax money temporarily. But in exchange, they own a variable percentage of your entire future wealth. Not just on the principal capital you contributed, but on all the growth and profit you worked hard to earn over 30 years. Remember this carefully. When you defer taxes, you are not avoiding taxes. You are simply converting a known tax liability today into an unknown tax debt in a volatile future. To understand why we fell into this trap, we have to go back in time. Let's go back to the year 1978, when the 401k provision was accidentally created. At that time, the financial world looked very different from today. And most importantly, tax rates back then were completely different. In the 70s and early 80s, the top income tax rate in America went up to 70%. It was even 90% in the distant past. Back then, the strategy of tax deferral was a genius move. Think about it. If you could dodge a 70% tax rate today, to pay a lower rate when you retire, then you have one big, but there was another hidden shift that our parents did not foresee. In the old days, companies took care of employees with a pension, also known as a defined benefit plan. The company bore the investment risk. You just worked and received money for life. But then, corporations realized the 401k was cheaper for them. They quietly shifted the burden of risk from their shoulders onto yours. They told you, this is freedom. You manage your own money. But in reality, they pushed you out into the open ocean on a small boat with a hole in it called future taxes. And here is the deadly point. Today we are living in the lowest tax environment in history. Are you choosing to not pay taxes at the current record low rates? To bet that you will pay lower taxes in the future? Do you truly believe that, in 20 or 30 years, when you are older, the government will need less tax money than they do now? Or are we applying an old rulebook from 1980 to a completely different economy of the present day? Now, let's look at reality. Let's look at the giant elephant in the room that no one wants to mention, the national debt. Currently, America is carrying a debt of over $35 trillion. And this number is still increasing every second. Let's think like a person doing basic math. The government has overspent for decades. They printed money. They borrowed from the future. And who is going to pay for this party? The answer is you, and specifically Your retirement money. Economic experts at the Congressional Budget Office have forecasted that, to sustain this system, future tax rates must essentially go up. It is not a maybe. It is a mathematical necessity. Yet, financial advisors still tell you the old mantra: do not worry when you retire, your income will be lower. So you will be in a lower tax bracket. Think carefully about that statement. What does it mean? It means they are planning for you to be poor in retirement, if you are successful. If you invest well, if you want a wealthy life to travel, to enjoy your old age, then your income cannot be low. And if high income is combined with rising national tax rates, then your silent partner, the Internal Revenue Service, will take a much larger slice of the pie than you imagine. We are betting our entire fortune on the hope that the government will be more generous in the future. That is not investing. That is dangerous naivety. Let me explain this mechanism using the simplest example that anyone can understand: the law of the farmer. Suppose you are a farmer. You have a bag of seeds worth $1,000. You have two choices to pay taxes to the king. Choice number 1. You pay tax right now, based on the value of that small bag of seeds. Choice number 2. You wait until you plant, cultivate, and harvest an entire massive field, and then pay tax on the entire harvest. Which one would you choose? Any sane farmer would choose to pay tax on the seed. Why? Because that amount is smaller and it is known in advance. But the 401k and the traditional individual retirement account force you to do the opposite. They tell you, keep the seed, we will tax your harvest. Let's do some quick math. Assume the current tax rate is 20%. You put in $10,000. You save $2,000 in taxes today. Sounds like a deal, right? But after 30 years, thanks to compound interest, that money grows to $100,000. And suppose, just suppose, the tax rate at that time rises to 30% to pay off the national debt. At that moment, the Internal Revenue Service will not take $2,000. They will take $30,000. Did you hear that clearly? You avoided a $2,000 tax today, to pay $30,000 to the government in the future. Compound interest worked hard, but it worked for the Internal Revenue Service, not for you. I know that feeling. The feeling of looking at your account and seeing the number $500,000 or $1 million. It is addictive. It makes you feel wealthy. This is what I call the phantom wealth effect. Why is it phantom? Because liquidity is king, but the money in your 401k is captive money. Try touching it. If you need money urgently to save a loved one, to seize an opportunity to buy a cheap house when the market crashes, or to start a business, the system will punish you immediately. You will be hit with a 10% early withdrawal penalty, plus the full income tax at that time. Basically, you could lose up to half of your money in a single afternoon if you dare to withdraw before age 59 and a half. This is not just about money. This is about control. When your money sits in a 401k, it is not truly yours. It belongs to the management of financial institutions and government laws. You have voluntarily locked yourself in a golden cage. You are rich on paper, but poor in practical ability to act. And in a volatile world like today, that lack of flexibility is the biggest risk. And here is the finishing blow of the system. Suppose you accept playing by their rules. You wait until retirement. You think you are finally free. Wrong. At age 73, a mechanism called required minimum distributions will activate. The government does not care if you need the money or not. They do not care if the stock market is crashing or rising. They order, sell now. Withdraw the money now, so we can collect taxes. This creates a catastrophic domino effect called the tax torpedo. Being forced to withdraw this money will artificially inflate your taxable income. It can push you into a higher tax bracket. And worse, it can cause your Social Security benefits, which should have been tax-free, to suddenly be taxed up to 85%. At that moment, you cannot say, wait a minute. You cannot turn back. You have accumulated a massive tax debt over 40 years, and now the creditor is knocking on the door demanding full payment. You have lost control over the cash flow of your own life during your most vulnerable years. So, what must we do? Sit still and take the hit? No. The solution is right in front of our eyes, but it requires you to have a contrarian mindset. Stop obsessing over saving taxes today. Instead, accept paying taxes right now. Settle the score with Uncle Sam from the beginning. First, optimize your Roth IRA or Roth 401k. With the Roth, you pay tax on the seed. But the entire harvest later is 100% yours. The government cannot touch it, no matter if future tax rates rise to 50 or 90%. Second, a standard brokerage account. Yes, you do not get a tax deduction. But you have liquidity. You can sell stocks to buy a house, buy land, or invest in yourself at any time without asking for anyone's permission. Third, real estate. The place that provides cash flow, depreciation, and the real tax benefits that the wealthy use, not the tax deferral trap designed for the middle class. The goal is not to dodge a few pennies of tax today. The goal is freedom. Freedom from the control of the Internal Revenue Service. Freedom from political volatility in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, life is not an Excel spreadsheet, and financial safety does not come from following the herd. Our parents' generation lived in a different era. The rules of the game have changed, and we must change our tactics too. Do not let the 401k become a chain binding you to the Internal Revenue Service for life. See it for what it really is. A tool that can be useful if used in the right dosage, like taking the free employer match. But it is a dangerous debt if you put all your eggs in that basket. Build flexibility. Diversify where you put your money, and most importantly, own your own harvest. If this video has changed your perspective on retirement money, even a little bit, please help me by hitting the like button and sharing it with the people you care about. The financial system does not want you to know these things, but on this channel, we speak the truth. I am the host of this channel. Please subscribe right now to master your finances. See you in the next video with even more shocking truths. Goodbye.